Hey everybody, Ron here with Rattling On with Ron. Hey, what I want to talk to you about today is just something that I think is completely unacceptable. In 2019 so far, some of you may know this, we've had 5 fatalities. We had 2 in January and 3 in March. And the 3 in March I don't have a lot of information on. There was actually 2 on March 7th and 1 on March 6th. No final reports or anything out on them or any preliminary reports, just basically telling you there was a couple, the 3 fatalities. The 2 on March 7th, one was in coal, it was in West Virginia, and it was classified as machinery. The other one was in metal, non-metal, and it was a slip, trip, and fall, and it was in Texas. And then the one on March 6th was a machinery one in New Mexico as well. So, you know, them 3, it's just heart-wrenching that we have 1 fatality, let alone 5, and then 2 on the same day, and 1 the day before. So it just breaks my heart. The 2 prior to that were in January. The first one in January was classified as machinery as well. A guy was working on an air door in an underground mine. These were both in coal. And this gentleman was working on an airlock door, and it was an air-powered door. And somehow he ended up between sounds like a cinder block wall or a jersey barrier type thing, and the door itself, and he was pinned in there and fatally injured. The second guy, he was working, sounded like he was a surveyor, measuring the roof, putting in spads, and he was struck by a shuttle car or shuttle buggy or a coal hauler, whatever you could call it. He was working at 4-foot coal. That's got to be rough right there, you know, hard to see anyway. And I envy you guys that do that. That's a tough job, and yeah, there's no way I could do it, but I envy you guys doing that. But anyway, he was struck by that and fatally injured. A lot of stuff on these ones that I found when I read through it and what stuck out to me the most was the first guy had 28 years of experience, you know, so he was a seasoned miner. But he only had 5 weeks and 5 days at that mine. So he was an inexperienced miner at that mine, but he had 28 years experience. The guy that was struck by the shuttle car, same way, he had 30 years experience, but he only had 12 weeks at that mine. Again, so he's inexperienced at that mine. Yeah, both of these guys are seasoned miners, and both have a lot of experience, but at them mines they were inexperienced, right? So it doesn't matter if you've worked at a mine for 25 plus years or whatever, you've been mining for 40 years, or since everything's been made of wood you've been mining, right? If you go to a new mine, you're inexperienced. What do we do for these guys? You know, you hire a brand new guy right off the street that don't have any experience underground coal. What does he have to do? Right? He has 40 hours of training. Right? He has to wear a different colored hard hat for a year, right? But just because I got 25 years experience and I go to a new mine, all I get's 8 hours of training. And then they turn you loose, right? But it's different. The environment's different. It changes. Okay, it's just like hunting, you know. Everybody has their favorite place to hunt, and they know where to go, and they feel comfortable there. But you go to a new place, the hunting's hunting, right? And fishing's fishing. But if you go to a new stream or a lake or a new place to hunt, the environment's different, right? Different terrain. Might be steeper, might be flatter, might be more trees. Water might be faster, might be deeper. But anyway, different hazards, different conditions, different environment. Okay? But mining's the same. So what do we do for these guys? We got to do something for them, right? Just because they've been mining forever, like I said, we got to do something to help them communicate better. I don't know what it is, and I hope you guys comment on this stuff. I've seen some different things on both of these. When I worked in New Mexico, the mine manager there and the safety manager there, two great mining people and 2 people I respect in mining more than anybody. They made a video called Death in the Red Zone. I believe it's on the MSHA website, and if you haven't seen this, you need to watch it. Play it in your safety meetings. Play it at annual refresher. Pull it up and watch it. And it doesn't have to be just for underground coal. It can be surface coal, metal, non-metal, all that stuff. It just talks about pinch points and red zones and the importance of it. And I'm going to do a whole other section on this as well, coming down the road on pinch points and red zones, because it is important. The gentleman that was struck by the shuttle car, man, there's all kinds of stuff out there, right? Should have proximity detectors. I've seen at sites where you couldn't go in by the feeder breaker. You just couldn't go in by the feeder breaker unless you notified the supervisor. You had to call the supervisor and say, hey, this is Joe Blow, and I want to come in and do some work over number 2, and I got to do this. And he's going to tell you yes or no. Or he's going to say, yeah, come on in, or no, stay out. But when you do come in, we're running down this entry and we're cutting across and we're doing this. So different things like that can happen. I also know that mines now have the flashing lights. Miner operators wear them. Surveyors wear them. They block off the entry. So have things like that. Shuttle cars have the directional lights. So if I'm going towards a miner, my lights are white, but the ones on the other side towards the feeder are red. And then when I go back to the feeder, them ones turn white and the other ones turn red. Key to this is if I'm in the entry working and I see white lights, I know the shuttle car's coming at me. If I see red lights, I know it's going away, so I can get out of the way or whatever. So all kinds of different stuff we can do there to prevent these, and all these can be prevented, right? And they're all repeat ones. Out of these 5, 3 of them are machinery. Okay, machinery is a big one, but it's all about educating our people. So get out there, talk to your guys about this, ask them if this can happen in your area and what are you doing to control them hazards and risks. That's the key, guys, right there, managing the hazard. Okay, if we have a hazard, we got to manage it, we got to get rid of it. And we'll talk about hierarchy of controls later on as well. But just unacceptable, these fatalities. All right, that's enough of the doom and gloom crap, but it is important to cover. What I want to talk about now is some fun stuff that's real important to me, and I know it is to you guys too, and we can tie some safety into this. But right now, there's a lot of people out there shed horn hunting out west. I got buddies in New Mexico and a buddy in Colorado posting all kinds of pictures of horns they're finding. This year out west, man, it's been real wet, a lot of snow, it's still around, and it's muddy out there now. And so if you go out shed horn hunting, let somebody know where you're going. Right? I know you all got your secret spots and you don't want to tell anybody, but let somebody know. That way if you get lost, they can come and find you, or you get stuck, they know where you're at. Take some extra clothes, take some extra food. That way if you get wet, you can dry off and get warm, or you have plenty to eat, right? We always hear people every year getting stuck and dying of hypothermia, and we don't want to hear that anymore. Turkey season's getting ready to crank up, right? April, May time frame, that's coming up. So again, watch where you're going, know where you're shooting, look around, okay? I know you guys are saying, man, Ron, we took hunter safety when we was 12, we know what's going on, but every year we hear somebody getting shot or killed turkey hunting. So let's watch what we're doing, okay? And again, let people know where you're going. Some other things coming up this time of year, we got the NCAA tournament coming up. It's going to be fun to watch, and a lot of cool stuff going on there. People filling out their brackets, going to try to win $1 million or whatever it is. If you get a perfect bracket, I don't have to worry about that. I'm not into basketball. I'm going to cheer for North Carolina this year. Got a couple friends that really like North Carolina that live in South Carolina, so I'm going to cheer for them and watch them. So I hope they do good. My friends out here in Utah, I don't know about you guys and how you think, but you got to get another team, dude, because BYU ain't going to make it in. We know that, right? And I doubt if they'll even make the NIT tournament. And I believe that stands for the not-invited tournament. So it's pretty rough when you don't even make that. But so be praying for you guys that you finally start cheering for somebody else. Maybe, I don't know. Some other stuff coming up in March. Got the D1 Wrestling National Championship coming up in Pittsburgh. That's going to be exciting. That's important to me. I like that. That's one of my favorite sports, and it's going to be a great tournament. The team title is going to be what I'm watching for. I know there's a lot of kids coming back for their second, third individual national championships, but man, that team championship is going to be exciting to me. Got Penn State's undefeated and Oklahoma State's undefeated in the duels this year, so maybe somebody can knock them off. But man, it's going to be tough. They're powerhouses. And on that note, before I sign out of here, is speaking of wrestling, I got a couple buddies from New Mexico. They're in the Farmington area, and both their boys wrestle for Farmington High, and both took third place in state this year, and that's awesome. And hats off to you guys, and good kids there, and hopefully they'll repeat next year as well and do better. But again, thanks for watching this. Remember, 0 fatalities is our goal. 0 harms our goal as well, and we can get there. And I just want to say I appreciate you guys watching this. Put some comments, concerns, whatever you want to hear, what you don't want to hear, what you like, what you didn't like, and I'll get back with you soon, and we'll talk to you later.